Hey guys, today on Talking Mods, we're going to talk about the 7 mods you need when going to the track. Hey guys, so on today's topic, it's about going to the track, starting out. Obviously, we're not trying to win the competition, but we're trying to have a good time and get on the track and have a lot of fun, right? So this topic, again, is from me, my personal experience, and it's also going to be actually the collective experience from the guys here at Mod Bargains. Got their feedback. Some of the guys, actually, one of the guys managed a race team. Some of these guys race on almost every weekend, and these are the basic things that you always need at the track, and they're going to be the most important in terms of what are going to happen. Now, if you do have some thoughts that are different, please feel free. Put it in the comments. Always happy to hear from you guys, especially if you do track, and even if you don't track, if you're going to ever go out there and you plan to, I think these are going to be the things that are going to be very important to you. So I'm not doing any particular order, but I'm going to probably go with one of the most important ones that a lot of people have said as their first one that came up to them. Number one is having an alignment. Alignment is extremely important. What is an alignment? If you don't know what an alignment is, first of all, every car needs to have an alignment because you're going to wear down your tires. But what is an alignment? It's basically the contact patch between the tire and to the ground. You obviously don't want only like a partial amount of your tire on there. You want to get as much contact. You want as much of your horsepower. You want as much grip, and you want to be able to control your vehicle, right? So alignment is extremely important. You're going to be able to run the entire track day. I guarantee you, if your alignment is off, your day is going to be over very fast, a waste of money, a waste of time, and most of us do not live right next to the track, so it takes a lot of time and it takes many hours to get out there, so it really sucks. Number two, tire pressure. You don't want it to be too low, you don't want it to be too high, or you're going to be sliding everywhere. So you want to find that right medium where as it's heating up, you want to get a gauge if you can. You probably will need someone else to help you out when you're gauging it. But coming into the track with the right amount of tire pressure, or having someone fill it up, or again, taking some off, is extremely important, because if you overinflate it, you're going to start sliding all over the place. Might be fun for a drifting day if it's been raining. But and if it's too low, even though it heats up and the pressure will go up, you might not have enough grip if you've gone too low. So probably better to take some off. So tire pressure, very important, and none of these mods cost much. Well, especially the alignment, you need to do it anyway, so I feel like that's a necessary thing. An interesting one is going to be brake fluid. Brake fluid is one that is another mod, and I call this one a mod because the current brake fluid that comes with your car, the DOT4, whatever it is, I believe, that comes with your car, that's meant to last the lifetime of the vehicle. Now, because basically, there is higher brake fluid boiling points, right? So the fluid inside heats up and it boils to a certain level. There's ones like the 600s, some go to 660, and then there's some that even surpass it supposedly. But 660s or 600 will pretty much what you get when you're buying a big brake kit, and those are better brake fluid. Well, that means that your brakes are not becoming spongy over time, right? When you're pressing that brake, when I'm stepping on that brake, I still feel that response that I need to feel. If you've ever driven on a long drive, especially like up in the mountains, and you're coming down the hill and the fluid is starting to heat up, your pads and your rotors are heating up, well, that brake fluid is heating up. All of a sudden, you're going further and further in, it feels like, and it just feels like you're not getting that braking. Well, braking is everything on the track. And so if you have that inferior stuff, right, you have something that's inferior, it's not going to hold up as long. And you can almost always see it if you're a mountain, you drive on the hills and stuff like that, you definitely can feel it over time. Especially if you've gone for prolonged and you've done a lot of braking, you'll start feeling it. Anybody will feel that. So One other thing that is often forgotten and not mentioned, the higher past the DOT4, I believe, you do need to change that it's recommended by the manufacturers on a yearly basis. That fluid, for example, will get some condensation from the atmosphere. You don't want that in there. So it is something that needs to be regularly maintained and is recommended. Again, most people don't do it regularly, and it's not a very expensive job. Brake fluid itself is, I don't know, we're talking about, to get some good brake fluid, you probably need about 3 bottles, which probably cost you about 50, 60 bucks. And you can run longer on the track. You're going to enjoy your brakes longer. We're talking about using your stock rotors and pads. So brake fluid is critical. I'm a big fan of it. I think it's one of the cheapest mods you can do to get a lot out of it. Another really, really big one, and that kind of ties in with the last one, is keeping up with the maintenance. Too often, and everybody was talking about it, you'll see those cars pulled over to the side. They are broken down. Basically, it's people who have not kept up with their maintenance. Whether you needed to change out your coolant or you need to change out your differential and the differential broke, keep up with your maintenance. Keep up with all those different things that you need to get done. This one's pretty obvious. I think it's incredibly important, is having a driver coach.
Sammy, you are wrecking the car. Shut up. Sammy, what are you doing, my friend?
Now, that might sound like a very expensive mod, but working on yourself and making yourself a better driver, that's a big deal. Even if you just pay for someone for 1 hour, that's going to go a long way. One is you're going to start to understand the lines that you need to take. Often you'll see people, let's say if this was the track, this is my car. Sorry, this is the car. A lot of people drive right in the center of the track. Well, obviously that might not be the best line. You might need to be going in before you're going into that turn. You need to learn how to go to the right area. You need to learn how to braking points. You need to learn how to corner. There's a lot of basics that a driver, even just 1 hour or a half hour with a driver coach, can go a long way, because you're going to need to practice that. The more you go out to the track, you're going to practice those basic principles. And that's the number one modification you can really do in improving your lap times, in making your car and being faster and enjoying it and having more fun and really taking your car to the max. So that's another super critical one, is working on yourself, right? How many times, I've seen it too many times, where a guy, and if you are that guy, well, that's up to you, but you've got a car that has way too much horsepower for yourself to be able to handle. And you don't know what you're doing out on the track. But, we've seen it, people crashing and not working on the proper techniques that they should be. Because if it's not going to cost you much, you have that car already, go out there, hire someone, and go learn the proper thing and learn how to take, whether it's that Porsche or that Lambo or whatever it is, whether it's even a Honda Civic to its max. And believe me, you will see guys who have a slower vehicle, Honda Civics, who are going to beat the guy who has his Lamborghini. And then that guy with the Lamborghini is going to feel like a fool. Or not feel like, I don't know, but probably will feel like a fool. So you're going to have a lot more fun. And the whole purpose of going to the track is having fun, enjoying your vehicle to the max. And I highly recommend it. Another big one is cooling. Cooling involves, again, I mentioned things like coolant. It involves either proper radiators that can handle the coolant, because your car is on the track, it's being run at its max. So it's like if you're running a computer, it's an overclocking situation, right? The normal fans in your computer can only handle so much. Hopefully that analogy made sense. But it's the same thing with a vehicle. You're running at such a higher temperature constantly, and you need to have the proper amount of cooling in there. So whether it's a better radiator or it's a better intercooler or it's a transmission cooler, that's going to make a big improvement to your vehicle over time. Now, some vehicles have some great cooling already from the factory, but to be honest, once they're pushed, when you're doing multiple laps and you really know how to push that vehicle, cooling becomes a major issue. I've run into it several times where I used a brand new car up at Sebring actually, and I ended up breaking the rear axle. It just overheated, and car oil had probably like I think like 2,000 miles on it. It was brand new basically. I ended up destroying that rear axle. Cooling is a major issue as well in having a good time. Obviously, I don't think it's the first thing you need right away when you're first going out. I think you need to see how your car performs, and then you can kind of see, hey, I am starting to have some overheating. Obviously, just be smart. Pull over, let it cool down, do the proper things. You know, you might end your one session, but if you let it cool down, you can go out to another session. You have multiple sessions throughout your track day. So don't take it to its point where it's going to go beyond. Watch your numbers. Okay, guys? The last one, it's going to be tire choice is important. Obviously, this can be a very big topic. The tire choice is going to make quite a bit of a difference in terms of grip and so forth. But when you're first going out to the track, some tires are very expensive. Not going to lie about it. Getting Cup 2s or whatever it might be, certain track tires, it's going to make a huge difference on how much you grip. It's going to change your lap times. But if you're a newbie and you're learning, you might not need to go and spend. Obviously, you don't want to go out there with an all-season tire. You want to go with a performance tire, right? So choosing a tire that's affordable, let's say getting like a Toyo or a Nitto or something, they're very affordable tires that can go onto a track. But if you need like the best of the best, you might go with like a Michelin Cup tire, or there's obviously other track tires that you can go with. Again, it depends on what you're trying to achieve. Those were the topics. I know there's some other ones that we're missing, and I know you guys are going to mention it on there in the comments. I know you guys will. Bushings, I'm not going to talk about it, but that's going to be one that I kind of was on the outside of it. I think that's a big job, so having good bushings. Anyway, so those were the 7. Guys, if you like this topic, if you have comments you want to share with guys that are going to the track, we appreciate it. Subscribe to this channel. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next Talking Mods. Thanks again, guys.